I used to work in a city called Canberra as in business intelligence space. And before that, I used to work in a few Australian-based startups in Melbourne. I also have a PhD in machine learning and AI. That's how I get into autonomous vehicle, and which is also very close to my heart as well, because I did bachelor's and master's in electronics engineering. So, look, with that brief introduction, let me quickly delve into the topic of the day: rise of the machines and autonomous vehicles. So, which is pretty interesting topic if you look at it from the current perspective because of the cars. So, in terms of the session overview, the session has three sections to it, if you want to call it. I'll quickly go through traditional cars. What is cars? What's the purpose of the cars? How traditional cars have been built? What's fascinating facts about them? And then slowly I will give you an introduction into something called rise of software, where these cars are no longer a mechanical device, but instead it's a mix of technologies and other things. And then we'll allure you into the world of autonomous cars and imagine the possibility of the world where all these cars are driving by itself. Okay, if you got any questions, put it on the chat window. I'm happy to answer any questions in even during the middle of the session. And I encourage you to ask more questions. If you think there's a few concepts that you don't understand, or I'm using any kind of technical jargon which you're not familiar with, put it on the chat window. I'm happy to go through with them. But this session is extremely tailored for very basic concepts. All right. So before we go into the topic of autonomous cars or autonomous vehicles, let's try and understand, why do we need a car? So the picture on the left, I don't know how many of you have seen these kind of cars in the roads, in the Indian roads. This is one of the iconic cars in India. It's called Ambassador. Yes, well done, Shivesh. Well done. Good on you. It's called Ambassador. It's one of those handmade cars in India. Do you know who actually manufactured this Ambassador cars? Do you know the name of the manufacturer? Shivesh? It's one of those iconic Indian manufacturer. It's Hindustan Motors. Well done, Shivesh. Yep, well done. Look, it has a symbol called H and HM. It stands for Hindustan Motors. It's one of those iconic companies that build this cars. It's an Ambassador car. The essential purpose of the car, if you look at it from a citizen perspective, is to take somebody from point A to point B. Let's say I want to go from my house to my school, or I want to go and visit my grandparents who are living far away from me. So the basic purpose of a car is to transport you from a point A to point B. In doing so, what happens during that process is that we also move things and we also transport some goods. It's just not taking people. For example, we might carry some clothes with us, or even some kind of eateries, or any kind of vegetables, or any other goods we might kind of get to the point to the other side of the other side. So the car's primary purpose is to take you from point A to point B. In doing so, we also move things. Okay, so that was the primary purpose. Then came the status symbol. For example, owning a car in those days is considered as a status symbol. For example, if you own an Ambassador car, you are considered as one of those status symbol in the whole community, that you own an Ambassador car, which is extremely great during those days where it's considered a status symbol. The little bit of a history into cars. Even though cars' primary purpose was about moving people from point A to point B, or from location A to location B, there is a name that resonates with cars in many business scenario or many kind of conversation. That name is Henry Ford. Henry Ford is the name of this American businessman who actually championed the mass manufacturing of these cars. So he had the concept of cars. Cars is not something new. Henry Ford was very, very determined in terms of producing it for a mass production so that everybody in the world will have a luxury to buy one and then transport themselves from point A to point B. That was his grand vision. So he wants to build a car which is affordable by the middle class family in in America, and also doing so, he wants to take it to the whole world. If you could see his picture, just remember his picture. His picture is very, very resounding in many car enthusiasts around the world. If you go to the G.D. Naidu Museum in Coimbatore, there are a few pictures of Henry Ford where G.D. Naidu himself kind of worshipped and praised his legacy in terms of car manufacturing. His name is Henry Ford. What Henry Ford did was not only coming up with a new innovative design for the cars, but he also revolutionized how it gets manufactured in a very large scale. So he introduced he introduced and championed this concept called assembly lines. So in those cases, how the cars are manufactured is one person will do everything. He will assemble the car structure, and then he will put the wheels, he will put the engines, and he will put all the dashboards, he will put the gears, he will attach the lights and everything. It is constraining people's ability to produce more cars. What Henry Ford did was created something called as an assembly line. So if somebody puts a body structure, it gets moved on to the supply in the conveyor belt. So what he did was he put a conveyor belt. Somebody will attach the wheels and then pass it on the conveyor belt. And then person on the other side of the conveyor belt will attach the lights. On the other side, somebody will attach um, chains, and then somebody will paint, and then that's how the manufacturing actually works. So he introduced a concept called assembly lines, which helped to produce more cars in no time. Uh, During one point in time, when Henry Ford introduced this assembly line, the Ford company was producing more than 1 lakh car per month. Okay, this was uh, literally 80 or 90 years ago. Okay, this is literally unheard of, and Henry Ford literally championed that. As you can actually see from the pictures, you can actually see a lot of cars coming through the assembly line, and people actually assemble them. And here is another example of how the cars are actually manufactured. Somebody is putting together the engine in the frame, and then it goes through the assembly line. As it moves through the assembly line, this is the picture of the Henry Ford's Model T. It's very, very different to the cars you see these days, where we drive a Ford, a Hyundai, or any other. Toyota is another famous car company, and this car looks very, very different from the cars we have these days. And this is the first model that is mass produced. It's called Ford Model T. Model T is the name of the car, and as you can actually see, this is very, very old technology, but it actually works, and it is very, very cool, very, very cool to have this car at this point in time. There are a few. If you go and visit the G.D. Naidu Museum in Coimbatore, there are a lot of artifacts of the old cars that G.D. Naidu himself collected. And I think one of the Ford models is also on display if you want to see it. Okay, it's very, very different. It doesn't have a seat belts. You can actually see it has open windows. It's very, very unique in terms of its structure. Okay. All right, cool. So why do we have cars? As I said, even though cars is a big mode for transportation, we do as a symbol for speed and thrill. We drive the cars really, really fast. We actually go and brag to our friends. My car can go from 0 to 60 kilometers per hour under 6 seconds. We brag about speed and its thrill. Okay, cars has become a symbol for that speed and thrill, for the underlying rush in terms of as a status symbol. But having said that, don't. It's a very bad practice to speed in the roads. Just obey the traffic rules. Even though I say it's for speed and thrill, always obey the traffic rules and traffic laws in whatever region you are in. Um, it avoids accidents. Okay, and also if you look at the cars these days, it's used for family fun. We take our car with us everywhere we go. We pack a lot of people in it. Our sisters, our brothers, my grandparents, my cousins, and all our relatives, and we go for a family trip. So a car has become a symbol for a family fun. In this scenario, obviously, you have a dog. If you have a dog, obviously, you can put it on the car. If you have a big car, obviously, it's used in a lot of family outings. So, car is a great place to have that family fun, and then also travel for a long distance for a family fun, which is great. That's great. But the other thing that car actually used for is also a symbol for success. Somehow, cars are actually become a symbol for success in modern days, even though it's considered as a more luxury product. But for most of the people in India, developing nations like India, China, and Vietnam, it's no longer a luxury. It's become a regular commodity product that we find in each household. But having said that, there are high-end cars, very, very expensive, has become a symbol for success. There are a few names I want to throw. For example, one of the big names is Audi, and then BMW. Another one is called BMW. The other one you see on the right side, which is a Ferrari. Yes, Rolls-Royce. Yes, look, Rolls-Royce is very, very particular. Even if you have millions of dollars in the world, Rolls-Royce have to send you an invitation before you even buy a car. That's how prestigious Rolls-Royce is. Is the brand itself? You have to be invited by Rolls-Royce to buy their car. It's very, very unique. But the other cars you see on the screen, like BMW, Ferrari, Lamborghini, you can buy if you have more money. Again, it becomes a symbol for success. The more money you have, you can buy a car. The reason I'm telling you all this bit of history is cars have rich history when it comes to the status symbol. It's not only used for mode of transportation, but it has become an integral part of the society as we see. Sometimes we judge a person by the car they hold, which we shouldn't, but these days it happens as well. All right, so enough of history about Henry Ford and the status symbol of the car, how it's associated. Let's look at yes, Shivesh. Yes, you are right. You're giving some accurate numbers on the pricing of the cars. Yes, the cars are very, very expensive. It can get very expensive as well. Definitely. Look, in terms of the car components, there are only three main components in the car. That's what makes the car a car. Okay. A car has an engine, so the car has to run, which means it has to produce an energy, it has to produce power. Okay. And for that, the main component in the car is its engine. Engine is where it actually produces power, okay, the mechanical power to run the car, okay. The way mechanical energy is produced is through the fuel. So we put petrol or diesel, right? And then that's what an engine consumes, and it produces this rotational movement so that the car can actually move. So the first part in the car, the main component of the car is the engine. Okay. The next main part, if you want to call it, is okay. This engine produces energy, but it has to go to all the four wheels of the vehicle, correct? For which we use something called as a transmission system. You can see on the middle picture there, when the engine produces, there is this green kind of the metal that rotates, and it transmits the energy or the power from the engine to the four parts of the wheel. Okay, and that's how the car actually rotates and moves. Very, very simple to understand. Again, if you want to stop the car, what do we use? We use brakes, and brakes are part of the transmission system. It engages with the transmission system so that when you apply the brake, the car actually stops. Very easy, very easy to understand. So we have engine that produces the power, and we have the transmission system that takes the power from the engine and then puts it to four wheels so that the car can actually move. The other component is the rest of the thing is the body, the car, the shell of the car that gives it its shape. Excuse me, I have to plug in my laptop to a power source. Just a quick second. I'll be quickly plugging my laptop. I think my video is actually draining the battery. Just a second. Excellent. So the car structure is the one that gives the aesthetic feel of the car. You know, when you look at the car, it looks attractive, it looks very shiny, and looks aerodynamically designed, and that's what the car structure is able to give the car. Okay, so those are the three main components. Okay. Let me go to the next. All right, let's coming back to the topic. In terms of the autonomous vehicle, is it fun? Is it fun to drive a car these days? So if you look at the picture on the left, absolutely, Shivesh, it's no fun. It's no fun in driving these cars because in India we have amazing thing called a traffic jam, where the cars comes to a gridlock and where your cars cannot even move, and it takes the fun out of the car journey. Okay. Why the traffic jams are occurring? By the way, why it's not fun to drive the cars anymore? Because more people buy cars and there's more vehicles on the roads, then the cars don't move freely. Okay, it gets stuck in the traffic. And also the roads in some of the streets and some of the major roads in India is heavily congested. It's all jam packed. The roads are very small, so the cars cannot move swiftly. Because of that, we have the traffic jam. Of course, the road infrastructure needs to be looked into and needs to be upgraded. If you go to many developed countries like America and Australia and the UK, they have proper lane systems, which means a car can travel in one lane and everybody follows their rules. And over the years, the road infrastructure also gets an upgrade, which means the traffic jams are a little bit never unheard of. Okay, there might be traffic jam, but to an Indian scale or to the Indian context, it's nothing. Probably they get stuck in a traffic for 5 minutes. Okay, but in India, we get stuck for 30 minutes or more than an hour. These, like there are days where it can go for half a day or so. Okay. The other thing is because of this traffic jam, there are a lot of accident that happens. People trying to rush, people don't follow rules, and because of that, it leads to a lot of safety concerns among us. So that's why it's not fun these days to drive a car. Okay, that's one of the reasons. The next reason it comes to is very close to us. In fact, it's very close to our wallets. The fuel prices. The fuel prices are going up like crazy. The fuel prices of the petrol prices and the oil prices, if you monitor closely, it's going up. So why spend more money in fueling the car and then we are not getting good mileage out of it? Okay. And the other reason is we also waste a lot of fuel waiting on the traffic lights, because we get stuck in the traffic lights. We spend a lot of fuel just to keep the engine running. We're not moving, but we waste a lot of fuel. And because of that, There's been an estimate in India that we waste a lot of fuel in waiting in the traffic lines as a per capita in the whole world. And it is not fun. Wasting the fuel, because of that, we send a lot of pollutants to the air, like carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide, and it polluting the whole atmosphere. It also causing us a lot of breathing problems. So it's not fun. It's not fun to ride a car that pollutes the whole world. It's not fun. We need to switch from that fossil fuel. Okay, so it's not fun anymore. The other aspect of the car driving is that we waste so much time. Driving has become so much monotonous. You look at the steering wheel, we look at somebody is coming at us, we try to avoid potholes, we try to look at traffic signals and then stop. It becomes a little more a laborious activity. It's not fun activity anymore. Anyway, and then we lost our precious time waiting at traffic signals. We should be spending that time playing with kids or doing some fun science experiments or gazing at the clouds, or we should be doing something fun. Instead, we lose a lot of time waiting at the traffic signal. The congestion, getting stuck in the traffic, the horn sound, the sound of the horns, the pollution, it's actually adding to our stress level. Okay, so because of that, we lose fun. Even though in those days it used to be fun getting around the car. We all have evergreen childhood memories, correct? So this is bad. Okay, then how do we make this driving exciting? And the driving has to be exciting. There has to be some exciting factor, right? Just like what Simpson said, let's go and then do something exciting. Okay, look, welcome to the future. The future is already here. And what the future is going to offer is that the car will drive by itself. Sounds amazing? Yes, the car will drive by itself. That's one. That's the first promise. The second promise is that it will have less congestion on our roads, which means the car will find the optimal time for us to travel and also the optimal travel time as well, which is brilliant. Yes, Shivesh, that's a Tesla model, correct? Model, yes, correct, that's right. And then the car can optimize the travel itself. And guess what? It doesn't spend our fossil fuels, which means wherever it goes, it doesn't pollute. It's all electric, so it's all sustainable design. And if you look at the three parameters, and then they are not three cars, by the way. Self-driving, less congestion, sustainable design is all done by a great company called Tesla Motors, and it is all one car. Okay, all this amazing characteristics of the future is driven by a company called Tesla Motors. It's all by their one car. Okay, the picture I'm showing you is called Model S. The Model S is, as I mentioned in the Henry Ford days, Henry Ford kind of visioned a grand vision for an affordable car. The electric revolution or the future self-driverless car revolution is pioneered by this billionaire Elon Musk. He's a famous founder. He's an American entrepreneur, and he has three big companies against his name. For example, I don't know how many people used PayPal. PayPal is one of those companies where Elon Musk championed. He sold, he made some big money. Now he's invested in SpaceX, which is the company that sends satellites and to the space, and also offer a private ride if you want to go to the space as well. And then the next venture of Elon Musk is Tesla Motors, which is the electric cars, and is also into microgrids and stuff like that, which is on power generation and transmission. Okay, and so two big names you need to remember. First is Henry Ford, which is pioneer in cars. Elon Musk is the one who is actually championing this autonomous vehicles, the car that can drive all by itself. All right, how does the car drive by itself? That's the big question. Okay, if you look at a car in those days, so a car has a steering wheel and has an engine, and a driver sits on the back, behind the steering wheel, correct? What do we do? if you want to drive a car as a driver, what do? The first thing is we avoid obstacles, correct? If somebody is coming in front of the car, we apply brakes. If nobody's in front of the car, we apply acceleration so that the car can move forward. We look at the traffic signal and we stop. We obey the traffic rules. If you want to change the lane, we put in the different traffic signals, traffic indicator lights to turn to the left or the right or goes right and things like that. We also avoid potholes, correct? We also avoid a lot of obstacles when we go through the road. For example, if a truck is running in front of us, we apply brakes. If it's on the left and the right, we kind of keep conscious on how much the clearance is from the truck, and we also so that we don't get stuck or get into accidents and stuff like that. So that's what a human would do. So if you look at what a driver value add in driving a car is that a driver provides a vision technology. Okay, to make the car driverless or autonomous, we need to have a good vision technology in the car. So a human has a lot of sensors, correct? We see obstacles through our eyes. So the cars cannot see through the eyes because it's not a human being. Instead, we replace it with cameras. Okay, the cameras provide the vision technology. And how does the car avoid obstacles? We use a technology called radar. It uses radio pulses. It sends sound signals, and then it detects how far an obstacle is. Okay, and then we can actually map a 3D map using the sound signals as well. Okay, and also uses other sensors. The other sensor it actually uses called LiDAR, which is the 3D light or depth camera, which can actually helps with vision. Okay, if you see the picture in the left, a vision system actually produced this. It actually directed the lane. If you look at the one on the green dot and one on the red dot, it actually directs the lane. Many sensors. Yes, look which sensors are used in the cars. Look, I put some in the slide, Vamshi. The sensors are called radar, LiDAR, and you also have cameras. Okay. There are bits and pieces of other sensors like ultrasonic sensors. Yep. If you want a name of the sensor, there's one called ultrasonic sensors, which sends sound pulse and then directs how far an object is. It's used for anti-collision technology. Okay, it has a lot more sophisticated than that, but these are the basic sensors, if you like it. A camera can do lots of amazing things, Shivesh and Vamsi. So the third picture you can actually see there's a lot of triangles written on the drawn on the people. That's the output of one of the vision algorithms. So it actually detects that's the person walking in. What's the velocity of their walking in? What's the direction they're walking in? The camera is able to get that information and then feed it to the car's computer system. So the computer system then determines, look, there is somebody walking in front of the car. Let's stop the car. Let's stop the engine. Okay, the car is able to make that kind of decisions based on the input it gets from the sensors. Okay, so that's the vision technology. For a car to be fully autonomous, this vision technology has to be perfect. Perfect. When I say perfect, it has to meet all these requirements. It has to work on all the lighting conditions. Either it's good light, or dark, or is it raining, or is it snow, or is it windy, okay? The sensor has to work on all these settings. That's very, very important. Because the human brain is capable of detecting these conditions and adjusting that, but the vision technology in the cars hasn't been evolved yet. Okay, it has to. And then on top of that, the human brain, and also especially our eyes, has immense capability to identify animals, pedestrians, cars, trucks. But the computer vision technology has to be trained. So we have to train a computer vision object recognition algorithm, which is a mathematical algorithm, to tell the sensors or the computer system of the car that this is the animal, this is the dog, this is the pedestrian, this is the car, this is the truck. Once we train that, then it can detect, and then we can use the computer system. Once we detect that, then we can actually either avoid those obstacles or navigate through them. Okay, so it's very important. And the other aspects is in terms of the road curvature itself, the road lanes, the road curves, the road bends, the roundabouts, the traffic signal, the traffic signs, the speed signs. All those things have to be detected as well. So the vision technology should detect all these things. Once it detects all those things, it feeds to a computer system, and then it tells the car control system what to do. You know, whether we need to stop the car or we need to steer the car by 30 degrees, or we need to wait for the truck to pass through, or wait for the pedestrian to cross the zebra crossing, and things like that. We can make the computer system can actually make all this amazing decision. Okay, so the vision technology is the critical component in making a car autonomous or driverless. What's the next big item in the car? As I said, engine. Uh, in an electric car or an autonomous vehicle, we don't have an engine anymore. Instead, we have an electric motor. Okay, so the reason why they used electric motors is for a few reasons. I put it on the in the slide. The first thing about the electric motor is that it has less moving parts, which means you need to do less maintenance. An engine has more than 1,600 parts, okay, including all the bolts and nuts and stuff like that. It has 1,600 moving parts, but an electric motor has far less than 300 or 400, okay, which is great. So which means we save cost on the moving parts. Second thing is the electric motor can accelerate very smoothly. It accelerates very, very smoothly. And it is very, very responsive. Once you press the accelerator, it's very responsive, very quick in responding to acceleration, deceleration. And it's very adaptive. It can be controlled by electrical technologies and sensors and other technologies. And in addition to that, it also have long life, okay? Which means once you buy a car, it can go for many years. The picture that I've shown in the slide is one of the electric motors for the Tesla Model S. As you can actually see, it's very, very simple. It's very easy to construct. You can actually see two big electric motors, and that's it. It's attached to the wheel. That's it. It's great. It's very, very simple. It's very easy to design and then implement. Okay, and that's what Elon Musk and in Tesla Motors actually done. So I've talked about the vision technology. That's what the intelligence to make the car autonomous. And I talked about electric motors, which is the crucial component it plays. What the vision technology does is that the vision technology sends all this data to a computer system, and the computer system kind of tells this electric motors what to do. Okay. The other aspect, as I said, fossil fuels is bad. So what we are moving is into a battery technology. Okay, the thing you see which is shining on the frame is the battery itself. That's a core of the Tesla Motors intellectual property. That's their battery. Currently, they have lithium-ion battery, which packs more energy per charge. But having said that, if you pack more energy into lithium-ion batteries, it explodes. So you always have to keep a tabs on. You have to monitor the temperature of the battery so that you get good health of the battery. At the same time, it doesn't explode. Okay. Even though when I say lithium-ion battery is the current technology, it's not affordable yet in terms of producing at a mass scale. So currently, all these big companies are invested in building a next generation battery technology that can pack more juice, more charge in a small volume of space. The charging cycles overall life will be less than the engine's life. Look, we don't have an engine here, so we are talking about electric motor. the normal lithium-ion battery life, if you want to call it, is about 6 to 8 years. And if you could push it, probably if you do good maintenance, probably can go up to 10 years. That's the maximum life. But again, the technology that Tesla Motors is actually using is a far more advanced technology, and they would have pretty much championed, the charging cycle and things like that. Okay, that will be optimal for, because they have to produce it a mass scale and then sell it to all the consumers. So they would have optimized a lot of things. So that's the battery technology. Okay, coming back to the autonomous status of the car. So as I said, the main brain in making a car an autonomous vehicle or a driverless car is the vision technology. So the vision technology has a lot of sensors like LiDAR, radar, and cameras. It senses what's around them, and it tells the electric motors what to do. Okay, either to stop at the traffic signal or accelerate 50 kilometers per hour, or take a left turn or a right turn using the power that's provided by the lithium-ion batteries. So that's the whole summary of the autonomous vehicle. So in terms of level of automation, in terms of the cars, there are 5 levels in the car automation. You can actually read it from the slides. Currently, we are in level 3 or level 4. We haven't actually gone to level 5 autonomous status yet. Okay, yet. What Tesla Motors is actually doing is to go from level 2 to level 4 to level 5, more of a staged approach. You don't go from level 2 to level 5. Okay, you don't jump. You go to each stages: level 2, level 3, level 4, and level 5. The way Tesla Motors is actually doing is the computer system, the computer brain in the car is a computer system, which means they can build softwares and then deploy softwares. So every few months, they release a new software patch, which the Tesla Motors car actually download, and then they attain a certain level of automation. Okay, and that's how they inch towards level 5. Currently, level 5 is not there yet, but they're inching towards level 5 of autonomous status. Currently, we are in level 4, and then they're training a lot of machine learning models. They're training a lot of artificial intelligence models, which can detect a lot of things in the real life scenario and then tell the computers what to do. Okay, which are very, 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 very crucial in going to level 5 of automation status. Okay. Cool. Look, that's pretty much I've got, but I want you to immerse into a level of imagination. Okay, imagine a world in 5 years or 10 years time where your dad tells you or your mother tells you, go and pick up my son from this particular school at 3:30 p.m. and then take him to the yoga class or a swimming class, and then wait for another 30 minutes. And then take him to a restaurant where you will meet your son, where you'll meet your parents. It can absolutely happen. The car will drive from your home. It will drive all by itself. It will come to your school at 3:30 p.m. where you hop in, and it will identify that's you and that's your sister or a daughter and things like that. And then it will close the door. You don't have to worry about anything. It will drive all by itself to a swimming pool where you'll have your swimming classes. You come back, you hop on the car, and it will take you to a nice restaurant where you will meet your parents. This can absolutely happen without having a driver. Okay, what you'll be doing in the car is pretty much watching TV or I don't know, or playing games. Would that be a level 6? More than level 4. Look, there's level 5. If you go to the level 5 of that in the chart, the situation I've described is exactly level 5 of automation. Okay, it can drive, it can do all by itself. It knows where to go based on the GPS location. Okay, if you have a sophisticated GPS technology, it knows where to go. And then once we reach this level 5, we're set. This is not far from here. Okay, you will have this technology in next 3 to 5 years with us. I'm not really sure whether this technology will come to India, but definitely many developed nations like America and the UK and Australia, definitely they will get this. Obviously, the government needs to regulate this. They will come and regulate this technology. But having said that, autonomous vehicle is no longer a dream. It's no longer a dream. It will come to us in 3 to 5 years. And it's already here to some level of automation, level 4 or level 3. Yes, Shivesh, I think is under testing and it's in level 4. Yep, a lot of autonomous vehicles are in level 3 and level 4. Level 5 needs a lot more sophistication. And they're trying to replicate the human brain and those human senses, which is extremely hard problem to solve, for which you need a lot of data. I think Tesla and many companies are actually collecting a lot of data and also collecting a lot of video streams and then train this artificial intelligence model, which is the brain behind this vision technology. And then it gets embedded into the computers, and then we will have this technology with us in a very quick span of time. Yeah, look, that's pretty much I've got. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you understand, you got some value out of this session. If you got any questions, please unmute yourself. I'm happy to answer a few questions.
Thank you, Selva. It was a very good session. I have, we will open it for the kids. Kids, you can post your questions while you type in the question. I have few questions. I have very basic questions. So I was just wondering why some countries have left-hand drives and others have right-hand drive.
Yeah. Look, most of the Commonwealth countries, if you go, for example, any countries that's that was under the influence of British, they have right-hand driving. For example, India, most of us are in the right-hand driving. The left-hand driving is where, if you live on the other side of the world, where the world revolves very differently, so they kind of switch to different mode of driving. That's the only explanation I can actually give. The other, for example, if you go to America, they don't follow the British system, so they always want to do something differently. So that's why they are on the left-hand driving. But having said that, it should not affect the autonomous vehicle in terms of whether you are a left-hand driver or right-hand driver. It doesn't see those kind of differences in terms of the driving patterns. If you know it has to turn left or right, it will do that. The car will do that because the GPS technology is very sophisticated in terms of telling the car whether it needs to turn left in 300 meters by how many meters and stuff like that. It's very accurate. So irrespective of which mode of driving you do, whether it's a left-hand driving or right-hand driving, the cars should have that capability to drive by itself.
Okay. So having said that, so this question just came up. So do you think smart cars makes user dumb? We get too dependent on technology that we lack skills of judgment. Is it like?
Yeah. Look, that's the argument in the sports enthusiast world. Because when you have the steering wheel in front of you, you have the control. You have the feel of joy of driving. Look, it's a bit of a mindset if you look at it. I think in the 10 or 15 years technology, you don't have to do that. I think the kids and our grandkids will have a different kind of mindset where they think that this car should drive by itself. I believe that's one. For me, I need to, I don't know, it's an old feel. I need to have control over it before I trust the technology. But you can actually see a lot of YouTube videos. If you go to YouTube and you type Tesla autopilot, I've seen people literally sleeping in the wheels. Okay, literally sleeping, and the car drives by itself. It's too dangerous, but they blindly trust the technology. And the technology is sophisticated. I'm not denying that. But in terms of coming to the level of trust, it's not there yet, but it will get there in 3 to 5 years. The technology is evolving extremely rapidly, it'll get there. But in terms of the choice, whether I need to have control over the car, I think it's up to the individual individual person. Personally, I don't trust them, but definitely my grandchildren will trust the car more than my driving.
Okay, all right. So one final question. What are the new problems that autonomous cars might bring to the society?
Yep. Look, the main problem with the autonomous car, especially, is in terms of accidents. There's no accountability. For example, if we get into accidents, we are accountable for something. Okay. Either we currently that's a very gray area. And if the autonomous vehicle car um, has to commit an accident by itself, who's responsible, and whether the car has a consciousness to make a right choice. Okay, there are a lot of if you type a simple trolley problem, there are a lot of ethical questions that humans avoid, or sometimes they have their own kind of judgment. But if the car has its own brain, it can make its own decision by itself, and sometimes it has to make a critical decision to save people's life in the car, or save people lives in the road. uh, how does the car tries to make that kind of decision? It's still a gray area. That's one big problem the car fundamentally will bring it to the society. The second main problem is, if the cars can reduce the number of accidents, which means the whole insurance market is out of the place. Okay, you don't have to pay a car insurance anymore, because the cars will have an ultimate safety record that will have zero accidents every year. So you don't have to pay for an insurance. So it will completely wipe out the entire an industry. We don't know that yet. How does that work? We don't know that yet. So that's some of the problems I could think of.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Silva. So now I will read out the question from Shruti.
Yep.
Is IoT used in autonomous cars?
Yes, our autonomous cars controlled with. Yep. Look, when you say IoT stands for Internet of Things, which is a collection of sensors, and it's streaming data. Okay, it's actually taking data. Absolutely, the autonomous car is one of those Internet of Things devices. Okay, it's definitely streaming data, and definitely that technology is bread and butter of autonomous cars. It's built in, even though you want to call it as an IoT, but autonomous cars does have that technology inbuilt. Coming back to your next question, can the cars be controlled with voice? Absolutely. Currently, if you own a Tesla, you can control it by voice. You can actually tell it to do something. You can say, reduce the temperature by 5 degrees, or roll down my left window. You can turn on Spotify. You can do that. You can even command the car to say, I want to go to my grandma's place, and it knows your grandma place is blah 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 address. It can take the GPS coordinates and it can set the route for navigational route to go to your grandma's place. It's very very sophisticated. Definitely, you can definitely control it by voice. Fast, like there is already a level. Sorry.
Harshita, do you want me to unmute you? Do you want to ask something?
Yes, Auntie, but I have also put it in the chat box. My question is that when the automatic car sensors get affected, will we know that, or should we get a checkup every month?
Very good question. Very good question. Look, what cars actually have is they have redundant sensors. So if one sensor fails, they will have redundant system kick in. But having said that, it will also automatically alert that this sensor is faulty. Go and check it or get it replaced, or the manufacturer himself will send a technician to fix the car for you. Okay, you don't have to do that. They will monitor your car for you, and then they'll send you that. But having said that, all these autonomous cars have redundant system in place. Just like aeroplanes, if you go to an aeroplane, you don't think that some sensor is faulty and then somebody needs to fix that. An aeroplane have redundant sensors in place. If one goes wrong, it will go and take some other sensors and then compensate for that. Okay, it knows that this sensor is faulty. Same like that, because we are playing with people's life. Autonomous cars, people are actually traveling inside the car, trusting the car will drive by itself. So a lot of redundant systems, redundant sensors, redundant algorithms, everything is put in place so that if one thing fails, something will some sensors, some other sensors will be make used in the algorithm, and so that we feel safe. Safety is the primary function of an autonomous vehicle, and all these redundant systems are written as standards. If you want to go for a certification of an autonomous vehicle, they are part of the standards. So the manufacturer have to obey that, those kind of things. Okay, there is a sensor. Okay, I'm just reading from Mamshi. There is any sensor that it takes data from ultrasonic sensor and gives the data on the screen of our car. Yes, Mamshi. Look, currently there is a lot of cars that has the technology. If you try to reverse your car, the car actually tells you how far you are from the rear end or before you hit a wall or something, right? It actually tells you some kind of a distance, like 100 meters, and then it will say 90 meters, 80 meters. That has an ultrasonic sensors, and a lot of cars currently, it doesn't have to be an autonomous car, but a lot of smart cars or cars that you pay a premium for, they have this kind of functionality within them as well. Okay, I'm going to Harshita now.
There's a question.
Harshita, yep, that's the question I answered, Harshita. Look, yes, there is a lot of checkup they have to do, but don't worry about it. Since somebody mentioned about this Internet of Things, IoT, the car manufacturer will monitor the car for you. Okay, you will pay a subscription fee for that in the future. So if something goes bad, they will send somebody to fix it for you. But having said that, they will have redundant things in place. Okay.
There's a question from Shivesh. What is adaptive cruise control?
Yep, adaptive cruise control. Look, okay, before we go into adaptive cruise control, let me give you an explanation for cruise control, okay? Cruise control is cruise, as you probably know, cruise means speed. So let's say you're traveling on a highway, okay? And the speed is set for the highway. You cannot go beyond 80 kilometers per hour, okay? So you set your cruise control to 80 kilometers. So you go to an 80 kilometer speed, and then you press a button called cruise control, okay? It takes the reading. Then you can, once you press the cruise control button, you don't have to press the accelerator, okay? You can take your legs off your accelerator, okay? The car will accelerate by itself. It will set at 80 kilometer speed and it will drive at 80 kilometer, okay? If you want to come out of the cruise control, all you got to do is press the brake slightly, okay? And then it will come out of the cruise control. So when you are in the cruise control, the car will drive at the set speed for you. You don't have to press the accelerator. All you got to do is steer, okay? Steer the car. And adaptive cruise control is a bit different. What happens in the, let's say you are driving at 80 kilometers per hour in a highway, and there is some kind of a traffic building, okay? Which means your car cannot go at 80 kilometers, right? It can go up to 60. So your car has to be adaptive. So if you turn on the adaptive cruise control, even though you set at 60, it can go at, even though you set the speed at 80, once the traffic, depending upon the traffic in front of it or cars going in front of it, it can adaptively change the speed. You don't have to press the brake pedal to come out of the cruise control and then control the car. Adaptive cruise control will do that for you. I hope I answered the question. Yes, excellent, Suresh. Look, this adaptive cruise control, electronic stability control are part of the safety feature of a car. Okay, it's also part of the autonomous vehicle as well. So once you get an autonomous car, it will do all this all by itself.
So Shruti has a question: why Tesla autonomous cars not yet in India? No driverless cars.
Uh,
Why is
no
it not?
driverless in car in India. Okay, look, I have a question for you since you asked a very interesting question. In India, we don't have two things. First thing is we don't follow traffic rules. Even though we have an amazing lane system in India, we don't follow traffic rules. Because of that, the technology will get confused. Why there's like 10 motorcycles leaning against my car? The car algorithms will get confused. Okay, and the other thing is in addition to the rules, the road infrastructure is not there in India for us to completely go have a full autonomous vehicle. For example, we don't have proper lane systems, and even people cross roads in the highways, even though it's quite dangerous and they're not allowed to do so. We do have people do that, and we don't have proper road signs and speed signs so that this technology can read the sign of the road and then set the speed by itself. It's not there yet. Look, it will happen for a certain portion of the road in the future, but only few cars will have that kind of functionality. We are not there yet. I think for this autonomous vehicle car technology to come to India, I'm already seeing at least 15 years from now. Yeah. Look, there are other technologies that currently is being developed in India. It's called vehicle-to-vehicle communication. It's called V2V, vehicle-to-vehicle communication. The cars will communicate by itself. Like, let's say the car that's going in front of you will transmit a lot of information to the cars that's nearby or the behind or in front of the car, so that the technology can evolve quickly rather than the vision system. Okay. That's happening.
Uncle, I have a doubt
Yes.
about what you said now.
Yes.
Now, if India had automatic cars, the automatic cars would automatically will have obeyed the traffic rules. So why don't we bring the automatic cars into India?
Yeah, yeah. Look, your car will obey the traffic rules, but the others cars won't. The other people who are actually driving the motorbikes or the scooters or the other cars, they don't follow the traffic rules. So your car gets confused over a period of time. If we have everybody obey traffic rules in India and everybody follow the proper lane system, definitely we will have a lot more speeder adoption of autonomous vehicle in India. And look, the roads have to also evolve. The roads cannot be small. The roads have to be broader so that more cars can be put in place. And we need to have proper traffic signals in India as well. Like once it goes green, and everybody should start their car and then move the car. But these days we don't. The moment you see a red and then the countdown is going down, everybody starts riding their car. In India, we don't follow traffic rules very rigorously. If you obey that, look, I completely open this to audience in terms of obeying the rules. As an young children, if you tell your parents and also you do it yourself that you obey all the traffic rules, in no time we will have autonomous cars in India. Okay, there is one question from Vamshi. When the airbags will come if the car is damaged? Okay, look, airbags is part of the safety system of car. If we get in, it protects the passengers from being hurt. Okay, let's say we go in a car and let's say we find a pothole and we suddenly have to brake, and because of which we gonna have an impact, for which the airbags will kick in. Or if you hit something and then we have to protect the passengers, okay, that's where the airbags will come in. Airbags are the safety mechanisms to protect the passengers in the car. Okay, the way airbags actually works is that it has a sensor in front of the car that detects the collision. Okay, the moment a car detects the collision of the car with an object, a foreign object, it immediately triggers the airbags. Okay, the airbags has the nitrogen gas inbuilt. Okay, the moment the collision sensor detects, it tells this nitrogen sensors to burn the nitrogen so that the airbags can be filled in very quickly. Once the air gush in, that's when the airbags comes up, and it protects our head from hitting the steering wheel or going against the window. Okay, that's how the airbags actually work. And once the airbag is damaged, we got to throw it away and then get a new one. Okay, Harshita, do they have HV sensors? Uh, what is HV sensors, Harshita?
I think it is continuation of that question. The airbag sensors. What is the name of the airbag sensor?
Okay. Look, there isn't. It's called collision sensor. Collision. When you collide something, that's what the sensor actually detects. It's a collision sensor. It's in the front panel of the front bumper of your car. Okay, that's where the sensor is actually being placed. The collision sensor. It's only available in some of the advanced model in many cars because you have to pay a premium price for getting an airbag. But in the future, every car should have an airbag. Okay, we don't need to. It should be the standard. The standard model should have airbag because every life in the world, every life is precious. Correct? We shouldn't be paying a premium price to get an airbag to make our life safe. I think airbag should be a standard out of the car functionality, which you pay a base price for. Yes, you have to. Yes, Vishwesh, you have to wear a seatbelt. Absolutely.
Uncle, I have another doubt.
Yes.
Now, what is the airbag? What is the airbag made of? The outside layer.
Look, the airbag is made of. Look, it's like a pillow. Okay, the airbag outer layer is made of some kind of a polymer material. Okay, and it actually produces a cushion. Okay, inside the airbag is where you have the nitrogen gas.
When the nitrogen gas expands or gets heat, won't the airbag burst?
No, it won't burst. It's built for that kind of to withstand the high pressure. It won't burst. It will withstand because it has to withstand the impact of our head. Okay, it won't. It has good high quality and high durability. Okay, it can withstand the stress that's caused by a collision. It won't burst at all. It's fit for high quality. High quality material is what's made of.
Okay, uncle.
Do we have any more questions? Ashwin, Shivesh, Harshita, Shruti, Vamsi, Vinay. Okay, if we don't have any questions, I think we will wrap the session. Okay. Thank you so much, Selva. It was an informative session.
Okay.
I hope the kids also learned a lot. Guys, you can type in the chat box or you can unmute yourself and thank Selva before we end the session.
Thank you very much, sir. It was a great session.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Look,
Yeah.
My one request is if you want to learn more about this technology, what you can do is you can go to YouTube and then type Tesla autopilot. There's a lot of YouTube videos right there that actually tells you the possibility of their solution, how sophisticated the solution is. And even if you type Tesla lane detection, collision avoidance, there are a lot of videos out there which you can actually use it to know at least how the technology actually works. But if you want to be an engineer, if you want to be an engineer, I want to be in the autonomous vehicle, be good at mathematics. You got to be extremely good at mathematics, especially with this vision technology. If you want to build some sophisticated algorithm, you got to be extremely very good with mathematics. So learn mathematics. Yeah.
Thank you, Selva. Thank you so
All right.
much.
Okay. Cool. All right. Okay. Thank you, Kavya. All right.
I'll end the session now. Good night, guys. Bye bye. Good night, Selva. Bye.
Good night. Bye.